Well, we had a court case last week.
Yeah.
What was that about?
And about my care.
Your care. And what were they trying to say about you?
That I couldn't have my own carers. That I had to use their ones.
Exactly. And what were they saying about your ability to make decisions?
And they were saying that I couldn't make my own decisions, and it's not true. I can.
And why were they saying you couldn't make your own decisions?
Because they keep on saying that my mum's keep on talking for me.
Because your mum talks for you.
Yeah.
You can't make decisions independently of her.
Well, I can make decisions for myself. I gotta know what I want.
All right. And is your mother in the room at the moment?
No, she's not.
All right. So she's downstairs at the moment. So, because I obviously there's an issue called mental capacity, and they say that some people don't have the capacity to make decisions on their behalf. And your case was unusual because they said you did have the capacity to make your own decisions, so you understood what you were talking about, but it was dominated so much by your mother that they should impose their own decisions. What else were they suggesting, apart from the fact that you shouldn't have your own carer?
There was saying about I have to sleep downstairs in the living room where it was cold.
Yeah, and interestingly, how did you find the court case in the room? What was it like there?
It was all right, but it was cold.
Yeah, and so you had to be dressed up in blankets to keep you warm.
Yeah.
What does cold do to you?
Yeah, and it's not good for my illness.
Yeah. So, what do they say about people with your illness? What heat do you need?
It says that I have to be kept between 24 and 25 degrees.
Centigrade.
Yeah.
And downstairs tends to be about 15 degrees.
Yeah.
Have you stayed downstairs recently?
Yeah.
And what was the effect on you?
It was really cold, and I had a cold.
You got a cold from it, and you could have been admitted to hospital.
Yeah.
But you have been admitted to hospital recently,
Yeah.
haven't you? Why were you admitted to hospital?
Because I had heart failure, because the council said I have to pay their costs.
Yeah, well, we know now that you won't be forced to pay their costs.
Yeah.
But what did the council say?
The reason why I have
Yeah.
to pay it? Oh, because of the court case that we issued recently.
Yeah, and they got a costs order against you, and how much were they asking you to pay?
48,000.
Well, that's you and your mother, isn't it? So how much were they asking you to pay?
24,000.
And your mother the rest?
Yeah.
Now, we know from what they said at the hearing last week that they're not trying to get the money out of you.
Yeah.
But obviously that upset you.
Yeah, it did upset me, because I was just thinking, why did they want me to pay costs and I'm not working and I haven't got any money?
Exactly, all right. So I came along to the court for two reasons. One was them trying to impose their will on you, and the other one was that they were doing what I call costs bullying, which is they threaten you with large bills if you don't do what they say. But we did get them to say in the hearing that they weren't trying to enforce that, which was positive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So do you feel more comfortable now?
Yeah, I feel all good now that I don't have to pay anything.
Right. Now, at the hearing last week, they said, and this is on Tuesday, we're now on the Monday after the hearing, they said that it was very urgent that you would be required to sleep downstairs and talk to their social workers, didn't they?
Yeah.
Have you seen them since?
No, they haven't come since the court hearing.
So, at the court hearing, we agreed that can you remember the things we agreed?
Yeah, I can remember a couple of them.
What did we agree?
The one was for them to do the extension.
Yeah.
To have that meeting with that person. I can't remember what his name was. And they said that I don't have to go downstairs anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to have, it's that person who talks for me. I don't have to have.
You don't have to have an advocate.
Advocate anymore.
Right. What was your views on advocates?
Well, the reason I did have somebody come out to see me to talk on my behalf, and when they was in the process of talking to me, they were saying that anything I tell them, they'll go back and tell somebody something about me. Like if it's against the law, they will go behind my back and do it.
Yeah. So Do you remember the name of that person?
Martin.
Yeah. So he was an advocate, and he threatened that he would report you.
Yeah, if I had said anything against me, he would do it.
Right. And you said in the meeting that you preferred some sorts of advocates to other ones, because there are different types of advocates. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I wanted one that isn't linked with the council.
So it's somebody who's not paid by the council.
Yeah.
Right. And what has so you've had Mackenzie friends help you out. I was a Mackenzie friend and actually a lay advocate at the hearing, and you've had another Mackenzie friend in the past. And what do you think about those?
I don't think I had one in the past.
Did you not? Oh, it was your mother, was it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So did you think the Mackenzie friends helped?
Yeah, I think it did help, because when I was in court, I was confident when you was helping me.
Good.
Yeah.
Right at the start of the hearing, we asked for something which was unusual for this sort of hearing.
Yeah.
What did we ask for?
And to make the case be not private, be open to the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the judge agreed that?
Yeah, he did.
Right. Do you think that was good?
Yeah, it's good.
Why do you think it's good?
So the whole world can know what they're doing to me. So.
Exactly, and they need to know how you're being treated.
Yeah.
All the costs bullying, and the issues to do with the extension.
Yeah.
That they wanted to ignore. What's the extension for?
It's to enable me to have full confidence, not confidence, so I can do things on my own.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the word is.
Yeah, but the obviously this is the second extension.
Yeah.
Because the first extension was demolished.
Yeah.
I'll talk to your mother in more detail about the extensions in a little bit.
Okay.
But obviously you're upstairs here at the moment.
Yeah.
One of the things the council was complaining about was that your mother had spent money for the direct payments on things that she shouldn't have spent the money on. What did she spend the money on?
She spent the money on the TV, that's behind you.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation, that's on the floor.
Yeah. And do you know why she decided that was a sensible thing to spend it on?
Because I was just stuck up here and there was nothing to do, so she thought just get all these stuff, because she thought that it was for it. Because the previous social record said that just get receipts to show what we spent with it.
Yeah, and she followed the guidelines in the Children's Act.
Yeah.
Right, which is entirely reasonable, given that she wasn't told anything else, and it was all for you. So you've got now a television. We'll turn it round, the camera round, to see if the television. Yeah, we got the television there. Yeah, one television, laptop, right? A laptop, and then back to Omar.
Yeah.
We're in out now. I've come here partly to talk to you, partly to
Yeah.
put some of it on record, because it's useful to have that.
Okay.
And you're happy about talking to me on record.
Yeah.
No problem with that, yeah. And partly for me to get copies of some of the paperwork so we can see what we can sort out about the extension.
Okay.
But do you think it's a bit odd that, given that the council has spent large sums of money taking you to court to try and remove your right to say what you think, that they haven't been bothered to come round and see you?
It's really a bit silly, because why take me to court then if you're not going to just do what you say you're going to do and just come out and see me?
Yeah, exactly. So if they're that desperate about everything. All right, but let's see. Obviously, there's another court hearing set for sometime late in October, and then another one in January. Now, I'm hoping that we'll get everything sorted out between now and then, so there won't be a need to go back to court. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I hope that everything does get sorted out.
Without going to court, it would save the taxpayers a lot of money.
Yeah, it would.
Because it must cost them something like £5,000 to £10,000 for every time there's a hearing. I don't know. We'll find out how much it costs at some stage.
Okay.
May come back to you. Now, obviously, is there anything else you think that I haven't asked you about that I should ask you about?
And the only thing is that I forgot to mention in court, was that they haven't sorted out my physio.
Physiotherapy?
Physiotherapy. I haven't had that for 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
So you haven't had physiotherapy for 8 years?
No. The bit about the extension, I know why I need it. I need it so it will enable me to get out of the house and access the community.
Yeah. How do you get up and down the stairs at the moment?
And my mum's back, she carries me.
Yeah, because basically you can't, obviously there's no stair lift or anything like that. And the hoist here can't get you out of the room either, can it?
No, I can't.
So that's not very good either. Right, well, thank you for talking to me. As I said, because Parliament's not sitting, I can come round and talk at the moment, but normally it'll be very difficult. But I thought I wanted to come to see what the situation was with everything, really. All right. Okay, so I'm going to sort of unplug this and wander downstairs in a bit. Let me press a button here and see what's going on. Hello, right. Okay, Emma, I'm going to go downstairs and talk to your mom.
Okay then.
Whilst we've got the chance, we'll have a look at the television that the argument's about and the laptop.
Yeah.
And then underneath here we have the PlayStation. Then I shall wander off downstairs, all right? Cherry bye.
See you.
I'll probably pop up and see you just before I go anyway. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll just do a picture of the living room where the council wants Omar to sleep, which is too cold for him and causes him medical problems if he has to sleep there.
That's good, yes.
All right. Now, can I just say hello, Melvalina?
Oh, hi.
All right. Taking the video now. Let's go and have a look at the second extension.
Okay.
All right. Omar's explained what the extension's for, and we see what state we've got to now with a half-built extension.
The problem with the extension is the roofing. It's not meant to be a flat roof. It's meant to have either a pitch roof or a sloping roof, and there is no steel plate to anchor the hoist.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have a look round here. Okay. The first extension was built. Let's go inside and talk about what's been going on with all of these things, because I'm going to start again with the court hearing last week.
Yeah.
What are your views about that?
To me, it was a waste of time. It's very stressful on Omar, and considering that the council was of the opinion that it was an urgent matter that had to be seen in court, they haven't done anything since then. No phone calls, no letter, no social worker has visited, but yet they say it's imperative for them
the urgency.
To get this.
Yes, everything was urgent. They needed an interim order, which we managed to persuade them not to press for by getting an agreement, which is only a reasonable agreement. Firstly, will you confirm that you weren't in the room with me upstairs when I was talking to Omar?
Oh no, I was downstairs all the time.
Because why I find this case interesting is that the idea is that Omar is unable to make his own decisions because he's too dominated by you. That's one of the reasons I find it interesting. A second concern I have is about them chasing particularly Omar, but also you for costs, because they put through a total bill of between £47,000 and £48,000 for a previous hearing. What was the effect of Omar on being asked to pay costs?
He was hospitalised with heart failure, and the other effect, he was forced to be brought down into the living room that is very cold, and that was the added effect of community pneumonia. Yeah,
so basically it really did cause him a problem, and if the council was supposed to be worrying about his best interests, they would have been better thinking about that before issuing an order for costs. Now, we know from the hearing last Tuesday that they're not trying to enforce the costs. We also know they can't enforce the costs. But I was particularly unhappy because it was what I call costs bullying, that is threatening you with costs, which is unreasonable. Now, the council complained about you buying him a television and a laptop and a PlayStation out of the direct payments. But you did also use the direct payments for care costs, didn't you?
That's correct, yes. Initially, we did have 2 carers in place in the March when the social worker was doing the assessment. The direct payment didn't come through until October last year, 2012. And by then, the two carriers had sought alternative employment, so we didn't have them.
Yeah.
Omar didn't have a wheelchair to access the community, so what I did, I bought him the TV, the laptop and the PlayStation and some games, which I thought from the Children's Act, I could have used a direct payment because it was still going towards Omar's care and well-being and so forth.
Yeah. And you went by the Children's Act guidelines.
That's right, yes.
So they didn't send you any other guidelines as to what to spend the money on?
Nothing whatsoever, nothing. Just that the amount was paid into the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the extension, obviously, it would be much better if we could get an extension on the back of the house that was working.
That's right.
That Omar could stay in. Because at the moment, how does he get upstairs?
On my back.
Right, so you carry him up and down the stairs.
Yes.
How often do you do that?
In a week, I would say, okay, over a month, I would say maybe 4 times.
Right.
And if he's got hospital appointments or other appointments that's urgent, then I have to
obviously,
do that.
And when it came to the court case, how did he get downstairs?
Oh, down on my back. Sorry, no, on the day of the court hearing, the social services sent to St John's Ambulance.
St John's, and they got him downstairs.
Brought him down the stairs, yes.
But generally you carry him down the stairs.
I have to do that, yes.
Now, there was an extension built in 2004, wasn't there?
That's right, yes.
What happened about that extension?
It was just a shell and the foundation, and when Severn Trent finally got told about this, they then wrote a letter and with additional documents saying it was illegal. They hadn't consulted Severn Trent about the sewage drain pipes that was built over. So basically what had happened, if it was for the only property, you can build over it. But because it serves the other community, we couldn't, well, they weren't meant to build over it.
So when did they write that?
When did Severn Trent?
When Severn Trent write that?
The Severn Trent first knew about it in 2009.
Right.
And this was built in 2004.
Yeah. So that was then demolished.
Yes,
And in February this year they've started work on another one.
Yes.
Now, that's on a disabled facilities grant.
Yes.
Where somebody designs it at your instruction, and then they get somebody to build it.
That's correct. Yes.
Have you ever signed off any plans?
No. I had hired one previous architect, but he couldn't get the 45-degree angle where he wasn't to build over, to take the light away from the neighbour.
Yeah, the point is that neighbours have a right of light.
That's correct, yes.
And you've got to therefore manage the 45-degree angle so that it doesn't damage their light.
Impede them, yes. So I then hired another architect to correct this, and I was over the moon when he corrected it because it then still enabled Omar to have the large bedroom that the OT said he needs. So I emailed him back saying, I'm over the moon that you've managed to correct this, and that was it. No other consultation, no negotiation, nothing. And then the workmen turned up and started doing the work.
So, but you didn't sign off
Nothing.
the agreement?
I've never seen a contract.
So you agreed that you were over the moon because he said he could do it, but he didn't show you the plans to do that. Obviously, I need to talk to them about what's going on.
That's correct, yes.
And how we sort this out. Omar, at the discussions, without you in the room, said to the local authority that he didn't want an advocate. Do you know why that is?
When I was bringing the court case in 12, yes, the judge ordered that Omar was to have a Mackenzie friend. So I went on the internet and we couldn't find any Mackenzie friend because all the Mackenzie friend that we came across said they only have Mackenzie friend in family matters. Eventually I found an organisation in Boldmere, and when we was given an assistant, his name was Martin, he then came out and said he's not a Mackenzie friend, and if Omar was to divulge anything to him, he can use that against Omar.
Right.
So we then said, oh, well, Omar said he didn't want him.
So Omar's worry about the advocate is that whatever Omar told the advocate wouldn't keep secret to Omar.
That's correct, yes.
He wouldn't have any sort of a confidentiality.
To Omar, no.
Potentially would use it to get Omar imprisoned or something.
That's correct, yeah, anything, yeah.
To me, what was interesting was that Omar didn't want an advocate who was paid by the council.
That's correct, yes.
Right, that he was happy to have a Mackenzie friend who was independent of the council,
yes.
but didn't want somebody whose organisation is financially dependent on the council.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the barrister on the other side got upset when I referred to them not being financially independent,
correct, yes.
and complained about it in court, even though he's fundamentally wrong. Let me think about it. Can you think of anything else you need to talk about that we've sort of... I think there are certain key things out of this. One is saying that Omar is incapable of making his own decisions. Another one is you not having signed off the plans for the extension, because the extension is key to this. Another one is that although the thing was very urgent for the council, and 2 social workers and a barrister and a solicitor spent the whole day in court and arranged a plan whereby they can phone you up to arrange an appointment, but since then they haven't had the urgency to phone you up.
Not at all.
Not try at all.
The only other thing why I believe that Omar is the way he is in terms of not being, well, I don't know, he hasn't had an education since 11.
Yeah.
So some of the times when social services would come out, they would ask him other questions using big words that he don't understand. And if I say, can you rephrase that? Then they say I'm interfering. Now you cannot talk to somebody and they're not on your level. Educationally,
The local authorities then do tend to use a bureaucratese, which isn't necessarily something everybody else understands at times.